I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody. We got a full studio here.
Yeah, we do.
West Point, Mississippi, in the Gamekeeper studio room. There's a phone ringing.
That's me right out the gate.
All
right, let's go. I'm ready, son.
The bat phone.
We've got a rotary dial phone down
That's spur of the moment deal,
phone.
you know.
bat phone.
So let me kind of set the stage here. We've got on the couch, we've got, again, royalty. We've got Bill Duke from Duke Traps.
Duke Traps.
Sir Bill Duke.
Straight out of West Point up in here.
And look, I'm going to save the best for last. We've got, I don't know where Toxie is. He's probably sitting down yelping at
He's actually at a board meeting.
He'd rather us say
He'd rather be hunting in a turkey.
So we've got Hunter Krim, who is just a legendary little local trapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now, I don't mean to.
boy.
I'm not belittling you. He's
Well, you did say little.
heck of a trapper.
Little.
And turkey hunter. We just got lucky and Hunter's here. Lanny, who actually killed a turkey this morning.
That's laying on the table here.
That's proof that a blind hog will find an acre
Every now and then. That's right.
Yeah. So, come get you to tell a real quick story of that in just 1 second. We got Dudley here, who's smiling like never before. I think. Did you just get back from Coachella? Where were you last week?
I don't hang out at Coachella. That's not.
Well,
Went
you
to
said you were
somewhere.
going to the show. Where'd you go?
Johnny Blue Skies.
Oh,
All right.
That's not
Then we got
Coachella.
Mac over here fact checking us. Mac, this one may have a lot of questions that you can look up and help us answer. We got Rob Kenny taking pictures. We got Richie on the board over there. And Richie, don't do that, please. Now, the big guest that we've got sitting over here, we've got Mr. Paul Antczak, who is the Montana Mountain Wolf Trapper.
That's right.
He's on the television show Mountain Men. He is
Seasons 12 and 13.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I'm sorry I was on the phone in there.
No, you're good.
I missed the good stuff.
I mean, what a guy.
You know, when they asked me what I wanted to be when I was a child in Mississippi public school, I might add, they said, "Lanny, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be a mountain man."
There you go.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
You got to meet one.
I did get to meet one.
You got the beard for it.
I don't
Yeah.
know. No, mine's more of a southern-looking beard.
He looks like a mountain man.
Yeah, yeah, looks like a trapper.
Yeah, he said he's was talking about beard oil a little while ago, and
Yeah, I get a little crap about putting beard oil in. Yeah. From
What
a
do
few
you
of my
have?
friends.
Do you put castor in your beard oil or anything?
No, I don't want to attract too many women. You know.
Yay, that's right.
Okay.
all right. Before we go down, we're going to be talking about wolves. We're going to talk about his lifestyle, his trapping lifestyle, and moving all over the country. I'm assuming he's out running ex-wives or the law or something as much as he's moved.
He's on the move. That's
yeah,
right.
he's on the move, and he lives off the grid.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
But Lanny, tell us real quick the turkey story from this morning.
Real quick, just got a little, note last night. You feel like going? And I'm like, well, absolutely. I always feel like going. I don't know. I can't always go, but worked out and ran out and met Toxie on a farm just north of town here. Kind of really slow start of a morning. We were just
That
kind of,
you have been managing intensively.
yes,
might I add.
yeah. Well, thank you, Dudley. I appreciate that. Clover's looking really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But morning started out slow. We just were easing around, and it got probably, I don't know, what's got time, 5:40 now here, 5:45,
That
something
sounds
like
a little early. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
When we got started.
And it was probably 6:30, and we eased up where we could hear a little bit better, and heard a turkey that we thought was a turkey, pretty good ways off, and then it sounded like more than one turkey. So we're like, this is exciting. So we went to making some moves and trying to get closer to them, and I got to say we stopped way further away than I usually stop because Toxie was with me. He said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to get closer." He said, "Sit down." Yeah. Everybody has their own
Buckle
style.
up.
Yeah,
buckle
that's
up,
right.
buckle up. But he he played them well, I guess is the best way to put it. They didn't have any hens, and they came from a really long way. Ended up coming up a field edge into some pines, and as they always do, they were coming right down the gun barrel, and then, of course, they hung a right. And I couldn't do anything about it. I kind of spun around the tree, but the pines I were in had a lot of undergrowth under it, so couldn't see really well. They stepped out at 5 yards in front of me and gobbled. Right, and I seriously, I'm. But the older I get, the more I was like, this is cool. There's too close. This isn't going to happen. But what a great experience. So they kind of 2 peeled to the right and 1 peeled to the left, and unfortunately, the one that peeled to the left gave me a shot. So there he is, and he is actually red.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Yeah.
He's what is it? Erythric.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
It's ERYTHRISTIC.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Know-It-All.
that's from Google there, Richie. That's not from me.
He's a beautiful turkey.
Yeah. It says it got reddish and cinnamon colored plumage. So, and he's got white in his tail feathers.
Yeah, his middle tail feathers have a lot.
I had never
of-
seen one tail feathers
That white.
that white.
You gonna mount
That
him?
one's got a little white in it.
Yeah, I've seen one white in it, but
Yeah,
not
it's
like
that.
Not that
no.
much, no.
When those turkeys started going around me, I saw how white his wing was. And I was like, what? But I didn't connect the dots until I was standing over him. But yeah, great hunt. Great guidance service by the Yelper man himself.
You gonna put that one on the wall?
I think I'm going to make one of those frames out of it. Have you seen the feather frames? It's probably going to take me like 5 years. But it's,
That's pretty one. You won't kill many like that. You better do something with it.
yeah, we're going to do something with him for sure.
Paul, do you turkey hunt at all out there in Montana?
No, we got turkeys. We got Merriams out there. My son turkey hunts a lot, but no, by the time turkey hunting comes around, I'm pretty much done being in the woods. And if I do go back out, our spring bear hunting is open now. I'll go ahead and go bear hunt. So, yeah.
Bears.
Bears.
This guy's he likes predators. Is what it is.
I do. I like taking the predators. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something about these bigger, more dangerous animals that just excites you?
It's a different kind of hunt. I've been on wolf hunts where the wolves are actually stalking and trying to flank me and all of that, and I never killed one off of that hunt. But it's a different feeling. It's a lot different feeling when they're coming hunting you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's a completely different feeling.
So you've been in the woods and you've had wolves trailing you, wolves following you.
Yeah. In fact, all right. So I had one in a trap, and what happens was sometimes when you catch a wolf, there'll be another wolf hanging around with that wolf. So a lot of times when you have a wolf caught, another one will hang back and stay with that wolf. Well, I shot that wolf, and then I heard a woof about 100 yards out. I'm like, oh crap! And so I went and I didn't have an AR at the time. I had a 30-30 in my truck. Went and grabbed my 30-30, and I started heading up the mountain to go get it. And follow it, and it would howl, and I would howl, and then it would go further away. Okay, and then I would howl, and it would howl back, and it would start going away, and I'm going up the mountain after it. Well, then off to the right, then I heard 2 more howl. Then off to the left, I heard another one howl, and then I just kind of just gave up on it because now he's way up at another 1,000 feet. I mean, I'm like, there's no way. The snow's getting deeper up there. I wasn't prepared for a hunt like that. I had him in the scope twice, and it was a big pale, looked like it to be a male. And then so that I came down, headed back towards my truck, and then that wolf started coming back down, howling at me, you know what I mean, and trying to call me back up. And then I just kind of aborted the hunt. Then I didn't know where anybody was, and as far as the wolves, and it's a different hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different hunt.
You think he was trying to pull you up?
Oh, yeah.
So the others could get behind you or something?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they were doing.
And had you not had the presence of mind to realize that was going on, you might have found yourself in a bad situation.
I could have, yeah, but I had a gun too. You know what I mean? As soon as you pull the trigger, it'd be over.
Coyotes ain't like that.
No.
They're getting out of there.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, wolves will play you.
That's a different ballgame.
Absolutely play you.
Well, all right, Paul, we're gonna have we got a lot to talk about, but before we do that, we like to let Dudley ask a few questions. Just we call it rapid fire. It's brought to you by we have a friend and a company called Nutrient Ag Solutions. You probably heard of them.
I've heard of them.
They're worldwide.
So
Just like Bobby Cole.
Bobby
for a while.
Cole.
yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness. Would y'all quit?
Oh yeah, please. All right, so Dudley, let's go.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I do expect a quickish answer. You can say yes, no, maybe.
Now I've been up for 36 hours flying over here, right?
Okay.
Okay.
We
Oh,
do
man.
know that. We talked about that.
He's a warrior. I'd be
We'll
over there
probably get
asleep.
some- we'll
you
get
want some
some-
coffee?
No, I don't do coffee.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
get some better results. So,
Right, you might.
I'm surprised he doesn't do coffee.
No,
You know,
no.
are you ready?
Yeah, bring it.
Have you ever eaten a bull peanut?
No.
Ooh, we got to get him
What
on
is the
some-
most fun species to trap?
Otter.
Do you hunt with a gun at times, or are you a full-on trapper?
Seldom hunt with a gun.
Okay. Favorite snack while out on the trap line?
Oh, nibs.
Favorite, that's what we call nabs, I bet.
Okay.
Favorite airlines, United, American, or Bill Duke Airlines?
Bill Duke Airlines, definitely. Best service.
Inside
customer service,
joke. We'll talk
unbelievable.
about that later. What is the most common set you run for beaver?
What time of year?
Oh.
Ooh, back at you, rapid
All
fire.
right. In the summer.
Who traps in the summer?
In the South, we do.
It's always summer down here.
All right. Okay. In fall, I like to do a crossover dam set on
Okay.
the lower end of the dam. Winter, I like to do a snare pole through the ice. In the spring, caster bound.
Boom. Okay. What is the coldest temperature you've ever experienced while out in the field?
Oh, geez. Actual temp or
Actual temp.
actual temp, minus 44.
Oh.
Have you ever eaten wolf meat?
No.
Okay.
No.
What is the biggest non-target species you've caught and released?
Oh, mountain lion.
Okay.
Ooh.
Name a part of your job that isn't much fun, but it's just part of it.
Pulling anal glands out of coyotes.
Name
top
one
of
of
the
your
list.
name one of your most important items you won't hit the trap line without.
Oh, my 44 mag.
Hypothetically, all forms of bait or lure or visual attractants are outlawed for trapping. You can either use footholds or snares. Pick one.
Oh, footholds.
Which common species that one can trap requires the most woodsmanship skills?
Wolves.
And last but not least, out of these 4 songs, what is your favorite about wolves? Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon, Hungry Like a Wolf, Duran Duran, Dire Wolf, Grateful Dead, or Bobby's favorite, She Wolf by Shakira.
What was the first one? Werewolves of London?
Werewolves of London.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Werewolves
yeah,
of London.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. Good job. Good job, Dudley.
who
I like it when
traps
they fire
beavers
back
in the
at you.
summer?
Does Melissa know you're a big Shakira fan?
I think she
Yes.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
I got her some Shakira perfume one. She made me take it
I
back.
bet she did.
Okay, I'm so looking forward. You're such an interesting guy. I think we should start with you growing up, and let's just start
yeah.
there and go. But where in the world did you grow up?
I grew up in southeastern Wisconsin. I grew up without a father. My dad died when I was a year and a half, and so my uncle would take me deer hunting, and then I'd always look to my neighbors, my friends, my neighbors and all that, take me squirrel hunting and stuff like that. So when you grow up without a father, you look for different father figures,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't really grow up around anybody trapping in my family, and I just kind of how I started trapping was in Wisconsin. I think it was in the 3rd grade. We studied the mountain men era because it's a big part of our history, and so anyways, it always intrigued me. The mountain men era. So I was like trapping like rabbits and stuff like that. And my neighbor, Mr. Wilsinski, I'll never forget him. He says, "Why are you trapping rabbits?" I said, "Well, I want to be a mountain man, and that's just really cool." And he goes, "Well, why don't you trap muskrats?" And I'm like, "Why would I trap a muskrat?" And he goes, "Well, you sell the fur." And I'm like, "Oh, they're still doing that?" Yeah. And he's like, "Well, yeah, and that was, oh gosh, probably 1980, I guess, something like that. No, it wasn't 1980. It was earlier than that. 79, maybe 78.
Okay.
Started trapping in 77. And so I caught 7 muskrats and a raccoon, and Grunwald was the fur buyer that would stop in southern Wisconsin and went and sold my fur, made $34.50, and I was hooked. So that's kind of how I got started. And from then on, I couldn't wait for October to roll around. You know how it is.
I get it. I know.
So
So trapping has led you. Looking through your bio, you've been all over the southeast trapping,
Oh, yeah.
coyotes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you lived in eastern Tennessee there for a while.
yeah. Moved from southern Wisconsin up to northern Wisconsin. Lived up there until I was 26, and never caught a coyote or nothing like that. I had water trapping mentors growing up. Never had a dry land trapping mentor. They didn't know nothing about it. And so when I moved to Tennessee, then there wasn't many muskrats, so I had to learn how to trap dry land. And that's where I started, trapping coyotes. But, and then from there, 2008 ish, I started a business called, when the economy crashed, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Started a business in Smoky Mountains called Predators Prey Wildlife Control. And, this, like raccoons and hot tubs, and you guys been to the Smoky Mountains, there's cabins all over the place, and there's always critters getting in, flying squirrels and bats and everything else. And so the business just took off. I gave them a good, honest business, good, honest service. It was funny. They would make jokes about me. I got paid per squirrel, so, and because I wanted to get paid for my success, when other companies would just flat rate them and then never show up on the job and just take their money. And so my business just exploded. And I remember I was teaching at a hunter safety course about trapping in the state back in Tennessee. And there was a guy that took it because he was wanting to go out west trapping, and older guy, and he was an airplane pilot for Delta. And he goes, "Hey, you ever go down south out of state to go trapping?" I said, "Well, I'd go up north and like Illinois and fur trap up there and do the bounty work and all that." And he goes, "Well, for contract." I said, "I thought about it." Well, that's what got me started going down the trap ranches and kill coyotes and stuff like that, and coon. And yeah, so yeah, I trapped Alabama. Yeah, a lot of Alabama. So
What part of Alabama?
Thomaston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gray Rocks Ranch, and then for Hugh Thomas, I trapped down there for him. So,
It's gamey down it.
Oh yeah.
We all kind of run a lot of little dupe traps, catching raccoons and possums, but we're not doing anything like what you're doing up there today in Montana. You're just like a whole different level.
It's different out there. I had to relearn how to trap actually when I moved out there.
Did you get kind of bored with just the everyday coyotes and raccoons and all that kind of stuff?
I did. I almost quit. I almost quit trapping. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. People don't realize how much work it is.
Right. And I didn't like, because I come from a northern state where, the fur is good, and it got to the point where I was tired of these coyotes are all different colors and there's no fur market for it. And I was just tired of killing coyotes for nothing,
Just
and
a few dollars.
Right. And then you almost, I hate to say it, but I almost kind of feel bad about it, taking an animal's life and do nothing with it.
I've seen a lot went this year for $2.
Yeah.
Bunch of coyotes went for $2.
Yeah.
So at some point, you decided I'm moving out west, and you wanted to move and live off the grid. And in this whole process, you were telling me you're so many miles from really any kind of civilization. Mailbox. You're truly off the grid.
Yeah. Well, I went out there 2017, bought a piece of property, which it wasn't, that first piece of property wasn't that far out, built a cabin. And then when COVID happened, everybody started moving, to the northwest Montana, in that area of California, and just all over the place. And my property value just went through the roof, and it looked, I just seen an opportunity where I could be debt free and have a whole bunch of money in the bank. And so that's what I did. I sold out, and then I went and lived on a ranch, a little tar paper shack, basically, and for next to nothing, in a trap form. I trapped coyotes and wolves, cleaned his wolf pack out off of that ranch, which was fun. But and then I had an opportunity to go ahead and buy some property where I'm at now. So my nearest neighbors, 8 miles to the east, to the south. My nearest neighbor, as crow flies, 13 miles. To the west, 21. To the north is Eureka, Montana, which is 32 miles to the north. My mailbox is 21 miles one way.
Man, I bet the
that's
stars,
getting out there right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
stars look good out there.
Oh yeah. No, it's yeah.
I was griping the other day. I was trying to listen to turkeys gobble, and you could hear road noise from
Yeah.
like two miles away, and it was aggravating me. So
I do have,
you've got it made out there.
yeah, I do have the rail tracks go, maybe 100 yards from my property, but I kind of like it now because if the train stops, then I know something's going on in the world,
Yeah.
But I don't mind it one bit,
So you own solar and just
Yeah. I built my own solar. A friend of mine came in and helped me redo it.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, I run my generator a lot, and then charge my batteries back up. So, but
And do you just
And what about water?
What you do for water?
a cistern? I have a cistern. If you watch the Mountain Man show, we put a cistern in, and they filmed us doing that, and it's 1,150 gallons, and it gravity feeds down to a RV pump.
Yeah.
And then I got hot water on demand, and all that stuff.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
What else could you need?
You don't need much.
I don't think anything. Sounds ideal to me.
You got direct television?
Well, I got it on my phone, you know what I mean, and then I stream it to my TV.
So you got Wi-Fi?
Oh yeah, I got Starlink. Oh yeah,
Nice.
everybody
Oh,
else.
Starlink, man. Come on, Bobby.
Starlink.
You got better internet than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I guarantee he does.
Every
bad.
mountain man needs Starlink.
Starlink,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Got to stay in touch.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, obviously we're going to talk about wolves.
Sure.
And earlier we were talking about Wisconsin and Minnesota, and you said something that I'd heard bits and pieces of this. Mac, I don't know if you were, you get that one good ear, but I don't know if you heard this. But he said there's parts of those states that I just mentioned that don't have any deer anymore. And the guys don't go up there and go deer hunting anymore.
That's sad.
Laney, have you heard of this?
I have not heard
And
of
he
it.
says it's because. Will you explain that, please?
It's just back when I was growing up, going to hunting camp, there was a lot of deer. You would go down, you could shine deer up there. Okay. I don't know if you can anymore, but back when I was growing up, you can literally drive down the road and shine the fields and count the deer. You'd count 100, 150 deer out in these big cornfields, cut cornfields, and you watch bucks fight and everything. Like, you don't see that anymore. It's gone. It's just gone. I went to the Escanaba convention last year, and I did a radio interview. And so, but anyways, I drove from Minnesota all the way across the northern part of the state, going down Highway 8, and I seen one deer. I mean, that's, was it 200 miles across there?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one deer I did see. It was dead on the side of the road. I mean,
And you're saying that because the wolves have been reintroduced there.
I don't know if they were reintroduced, so to speak. They did come down from Minnesota. They just weren't managed. A lot of it I would say 80%, in my opinion, has to do with wolves.
Well, in preparation for this, and I sent this to everybody, there was a photograph, there was an image of the state of Wisconsin, and it had little dots for wherever they thought was a pack of wolves, and it covered almost the whole state.
Yeah. A friend of mine, he traps in Iowa, and he had a cell phone video.
So they're getting into like Illinois and Iowa now.
Iowa, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what will these states do? Is that so that it's naturally, it's just nature of these things, these animals are dispersing. So all of a sudden,
they have to.
Illinois and some of these other states will just have to start managing the wolves. They'll have to instrument policies to do that.
Well, right now it's going through legislation that the wolves are coming off the endangered species list. So nationwide, going to put it back in the hands of the states to manage them. Wolves, unlike coyotes disperse every year. So when a coyote pup becomes 6 months old or so, 5-6 months old, they disperse, they leave. Wolves disperse when they're about to turn 3 years old. That's when they disperse, and they'll go hundreds of miles. We had a wolf collared by us west of Kalispell in Montana that ended up going, I think it was, now if I can't remember the pattern, but it went from Montana across Idaho. I mean, they're following it on the tracking collar. I think it was into Washington, down through Oregon, up to California, came back up in Oregon, came back into Idaho. This is hundreds of miles, and then it got killed. So.
I was this again doing research. Was looking at the states that have wolves. It was interesting how there was like an open area with Arizona in Utah that said, they claimed they didn't have any wolves, but there's obviously wolves all around them. New Mexico's got these Mexican wolves.
Yeah. And they dropped them. I brought some into Colorado just recently, and Montana said, no, we're not going to give you guys any wolves. Idaho said the same thing. We're not going to give you any wolves. I think they got from what I understand, is they got their wolves off from a reservation. I believe it was in, gosh, I'd hate to say Oregon. I'm not sure. I can't remember. If we could fact check.
Have you ever run across a red wolf? They introduced red wolves in this area.
Yeah, they introduced them back over in the Smokies.
Yeah.
Back over there. Yeah.
Have you ever run across one?
Big coyotes. I've ran into some big coyotes, back there.
I had one that it was just way bigger than a coyote, but I didn't prove it was a red wolf, but
Right.
it was by far the biggest coyote that I'd ever caught.
Yeah.
So,
And it
is what it is. They look real familiar. I mean, they're similar. So.
Yeah, I mean, I got some pictures of my phone from coyotes before I moved to Montana that the eyes were brown.
Mm-hmm.
They're like wider and they're set different in the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just didn't
Didn't look
coyote.
like a coyote. You can see a million. And when I pulled up on that one, I leveled the door of my truck and I was like, this is a big one,
Right.
But I was younger, so I didn't do anything with it. I wish now that I'd have kept it, and mounted it.
Right.
But, it was special.
Right.
But,
Right.
What you got, Mike?
So it looks like the 10 wolves that were released in Colorado in December of 23 came from Oregon, and the wolves that were just released in January of 25 came from British Columbia.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a fact check.
So,
there you go. Thank you.
So, good job, Mike. So, this ESA, the Endangered Species Act, you're saying that it looks probable that the wolves will be delisted.
Yes.
Is that, in your mind, a good or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a great thing. You need to put it in the hands of the states.
Okay.
Right now our especially out west, of all the predators from, going north and across anywhere there's wolves, it's all politically motivated, driven as how to manage them.
It's very political.
Oh God, it's horrible. Yeah.
And this will just take the emotion out of it. Mm-hmm. You don't want the emotion in a management decision like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you were saying earlier that a lot of the people's concerns that are against possibly having it delisted is they're scared that once again that everybody, all the trappers and the hunters and the cattle ranchers just trying to get rid of them could drive them back to in the same stage that we're in.
It'll never happen.
But could you explain that?
Yeah, it'll never happen. First of all, when you go to northwest Montana, anywhere there's wolves on any kind of like the Kootenai National Forest, got 450,000 acres in my backyard. Okay, there's gates on everything. We can't access that to trap it or hunt it.
So you would have to park at the gate
and we have to walk in
10 miles
with that big heavy trap.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't carrying many.
You're not going to carry many. No. A wolf's range up there by me is 250 square miles for a pack. You know what I mean? So you got to cover a lot of ground. Another thing we can't do is, of course, you can't poison, thank God. You know what I mean? So there's no poisoning like they did back in the day. And we're highly regulated as far as how many days during a year we can trap because of the Endangered Species Act, because of the grizzly bear. So, they took 30 days off of us in the front of our season and 30 days off the back of our season. So now we got 45 days to go ahead and try to fill our 10 tags trapping. Mm-hmm. It'll never happen. It never happened.
Yeah, you'd mentioned something like a lynx protection zone or something like that, where apparently you can't trap in that area.
No, I could trap in that area, but I'm restricted to the size of the trap that I can use.
Okay, so that it makes it more difficult to catch a wolf
on public land. No, that's for like coyotes and bobcats.
So when you catch one, what's like the protocol? Like, do you have to tag it? Do you have to send it in? Do you do it on an app, or how does that work?
Protocol is first of all, in the state of Montana, we cannot video it or take pictures of it, or I think it's video it, and you can't post it online. As soon as you reach that wolf, this is how regulated we are, guys. So as soon as I reach that wolf, let's say I pull up my snow machine, I see that wolf, the first thing I have to do is grab my gun legally and put it down. All right. If I hesitate, if I take a video, if I take pictures and all that, I'm breaking that law. Highly regulated. Okay. So then I bring that wolf home. As soon as I get signal, I got 24 hours to call that wolf in. I got to call that wolf in and tell them township, section, range, sex, how I killed the wolf, whether it was trapping or hunting. And then I got 10 days to go ahead and bring that wolf in so they can visually inspect it and then tag it, put a seal on it.
Well, that's a lot of steps.
A lot of steps. Yeah. Yeah.
So, is there any profit involved with like a hide from a wolf or the fur, or because it's a wolf and it's rare?
It's really not rare anymore, but yeah, there is, well, there's profit for wolves ain't easy to catch. Okay. Right. Because of a lot of things. One, because they're really intelligent. Two, the weather that we have to deal with and everything else. You've heard of muskies are the fish of 10,000 casts. That's kind of like what wolves are. Picture hunting that trophy whitetail.
Yeah,
that's
funny that you should pick that.
Here we go.
But that's about what it is getting a wolf. Some guys are better at it than others. Some guys are more efficient at it. The ones that are more efficient, more better at it, are going to make more money. Okay. So we got the Foundation for Wildlife Management. Okay. And here's another thing. I don't understand why. I think you guys could do this with coyotes down here if you listen to the program. Okay. So the Foundation for Wildlife Management started 2010 or something like that in Idaho. Started out with a couple of guys that were sick and tired of their elk being decimated by wolves. And so they went to go talk to a local trapper because they tried a wolf trap, never caught any wolves. They spent a lot of money doing it. And they said, why don't we just pay this guy right here to go ahead and wolf trap? And so that's how the F4WM started. So, for instance, in Montana, and it's not a bounty. I don't care what the animal activists say. It's not a bounty. It's a reimbursement program. It cost me a lot of money to catch one wolf. Right now, I'm when I get back, I'll start hanging cameras for wolves. I got fuel. I got cameras. I got batteries. Just right now, then you start getting into fuel for your snow machine. Your snow machine breaks down. You got to buy those expensive Duke traps.
They're very expensive.
But you got a lot going into it. You know what I mean?
Time.
Yeah, before you even get a wolf caught. So, like where I'm at in Region 1, it's $1,000 reimbursement. We always hope it goes up every year. And that comes from the organization. We raise the money through banquets. Our Libby banquet is coming up real soon. Ranchers, elk hunters, deer hunters, they join, and all this money gets put into a pot. So, and then after that, let me slow
How many of you is it?
How many what?
Wolf trappers in that area, in your area?
Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch in my area. There's a bunch. My wolves.
So you're competing with a lot of people.
Yeah, my wolves, when they leave my drainage, they go over the mountain, they hit another drainage, and they go over a mountain, they hit another drainage, and they're hitting trappers each time. So by the time they rotate through, if you want to get one caught, at least one caught every time they rotate through. By the time they come through in the third time,
how often they make a pass? I say coyotes 2 days most time.
Wolves can be. Now this year they were back behind my cabin about twice a week. And then I've had them gone for 45 days.
Wow.
There is no pattern with wolves, and that's what makes it so hard.
This is a dumb question, but I mean, what's the size of a wolf? Like an average wolf?
My wolves in my area, 86 to 90 pounds. So, but back to the Foundation for Wildlife Management really quick. So it's not a bounty, it's a reimbursement program. So I save all of my receipts, fuel, long underwear I need it for, wolf
Negative
trapping.
44. Yeah.
Right.
Like
22 shells, everything.
I'll probably get a couple pair.
Belts for my snowmobile, whatever it is, parts for my truck or whatever. And I get reimbursed that. I get a check back. So within a week, I'm getting a check from the F4WM. So
That's an interesting.
And that's every time you catch a
isn't it?
wolf.
so I was saying you could do it with coyotes. Maybe not.
That's
that
what we
much
need to
money.
do on coyotes around here.
Yeah.
That'll make it well worth your time there.
Yeah, expense
Look-
reimbursement.
Look at their foundation on how they do it, and it's
I'm intrigued with that.
It sounds like a co-op.
Sounds like
Yeah.
something Bill Duke needs to look at.
Well, I'm a big fan of that type of a program because it puts the people that are already out there in charge of things.
There
They're
you go.
already out there. And it puts a monetary incentive. If the fur market doesn't provide that incentive, this is another incentive that gets it done.
Maybe it's just so many that they can't do it. You know, I mean, out there they ain't catching as many as as we are. But
Yep.
you take thermal hunters and then trappers like me, and I mean we're gathering up. I mean, I'm over 50 coyotes this year. Just since January.
Yeah.
So
what it does for us. It keeps us, the guys that can do it. It keeps us out there doing it.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And every wolf is approximately 20 to 30 elk saved a year.
Wow.
Take me and help me understand. You leave the southeast, or you leave the coyote habitat where you're probably an expert coyote trapper, and you're going out. Was there the learning curve to learn to catch these wolves? Tell us about
I
that.
thought I was an expert coyote trapper when I moved out there until I moved out there and started trapping coyotes out there. That's a whole nother story. They're a different animal out there. But yeah, I thought wolves were going to be a lot like coyotes, and they're really not, completely not. I've seen wolves do some really, really crazy stuff, as far as how did they know, how did they know what I was doing here? I had one wolf. I mean, God, I got so many for instances. Which one can I tell you about? All right. Snowmobile track. I'm going to lay the scenario out. You got a barbed wire fence right here. Snowmobile track is about 4 foot wide, ski to ski. And then it went straight up a mountain right here. So it narrowed down real tight, about 10 foot wide.
Little bottleneck.
Oh, just a beautiful bottleneck, right? And so when you got about 2 feet of snow, those wolves will follow that snowmobile track, and that's already a bottleneck, right? They don't, it's less energy to follow that snowmobile track, and they'll run right down the center of that track, So, had a urine post set. I go in the back of my toboggan, which is connected to my snowmobile, and I make my urine post set off to the side, squirt a little bit of urine on that coyote urine, get back onto my snowmobile, and drive off. So I'm coming in, and what's really awesome about wolf trapping is you can go for 2-3 weeks and not see a track, nothing, catch nothing. So you're about to give up, and then all of a sudden you get on that track, and all of a sudden there's 2 sets of wolf tracks going down your snowmobile track. And you're like, oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Here we go. And I've learned now not to get too excited, because
Still got to catch him.
crap happens. So this wolf is coming down the snowmobile track and he's going right down the center for, 2 miles, just trucking. I'm like, oh, I'm getting closer and getting closer. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to come around that corner. It's going to be an explosion, right? About 50 feet away from where I had my set, that wolf went over into the ski track up against the barbed wire fence and then went by at 50 yards and then back onto the center of the snowmobile track. After he passed right where my urine post is.
How do it know?
Here's another one. Baiting, on private land you can bait. A friend of mine was baiting. Okay, he's getting
So you
big
put
bait
a
piles.
carcass out or something?
Oh yeah, big bait piles. You can only do that on private land. So he had somebody was cutting firewood, and they cut a chunk out of a tree to see if it was good, and it wasn't good, so they left it, and the log was hollow up in there. So he was taking chunks of meat, and he was stuffing meat up there, right? Wolf would come, 3 times a week, he was telling me, and step right there, and he'd go in there, grab that bait out of it, and he kept feeding them out of that log. So I'm like, well, hey, man, I said, you need to go, we're about to get started here. I said, go ahead, drive your stake right away, get everything set, right? Pour your wax sand down in there. He got his wax sand down there. He's got his anchor down in there and everything ready to go. Just clip on. Wolf comes in, right? Grabs the bait out, steps in that wax sand. Next day he went and put
So
his-
that's where you're like pre-baiting.
right. So
You're even getting,
you're conditioning.
you're putting the steak
Where they're
and the
stepping.
sand
Right.
so he can get used to
Right.
it. And then you'll put the trap under the sand.
Yeah, he went and put the trap on it, and guess what? The wolf circled around it and then walked off.
Golly.
You know what I mean? So I got hundreds of stories like that. You know, where I had a wolf come in, snowbank about as high as your table like that on a 2-track road. The wolf came in, circled around it, went on top of the snowbank, belly crawled, right? And you can see where he's laying down the tracks in the snow, and he leaned over to smell the urine post down here that I put out, turned around, sat down, looked up the mountain, and then stood up and walked off. Why did he circle all the way around that?
They sound like Eastern turkeys.
Yeah, so I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got so many stories.
Yeah.
Here's another one. End of my trap line on one line. I did a loop in my snow machine and come back around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and lure these things down through, right? So I took a deer hide to drag it behind my snow, but went around the loop and then run off the back of my snowmobile, tied the deer hide to it, and came down, right? 2 days later, I went up there and I'm like, oh, there's nothing. Went around that loop. The wolf came down, hit that loop, got to where I dropped that deer hide, turned around and went back. Here's another one.
Wow.
So I'm trapped before this ranch, right? And she says, yeah, there's a spot right over here that the wolves are always coming through it, and they're always messing with this rock. I got it on camera. Reviewed the footage. I'm like, oh, this is great. They're showing exactly where that wolf is stepping. Oh, it's a done deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went and set the trap and everything. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add a little lure to that. Wrong move. Wrong move. Added the lure to it. You can see on the camera, the wolves came down, slammed the brakes on, turned around and went the other way.
When they smelled the lure.
They smelt the lure. Well, come to find out, she didn't tell me that that's where the government trapper was catching them. So now I changed the smell of that rock, that lure, and it scared the wolves away.
Freaked him out.
Them things pretty slick,
They
man.
are.
They
Oh,
are.
dude.
Sounds like it.
You'll pull your hair out, man.
Lenny, I had to tell you, hunting with you, you've got your phone in your pocket. You're constantly checking Onyx.
Yep. Very valuable key features all in those things. It really is. From the compass mode to recent imagery, I mean, it really helps you understand where you are spatially, where you're headed, where a turkey is, where he was. It's a heck of a tool to use in the spring woods.
I didn't realize that they're updating these maps every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'd have never known about that clear cut that you were hunting if I didn't have that recent imagery.
Well, and you could share some waypoints with me.
I could share some points with you. You're exactly right.
I mean, it has that
It
capability.
does have that sharing capability, which is great. You know, you're wanting to show me where your goblin turkeys are.
Oh, man. Onyx, it's a great app.
It's a great app.
So guys can go to onyxmaps.com/hunt and use code Mossy Oak to get 20% off.
There you go.
I'm a big fan of Onyx.
I am too.
Hey y'all, it's Jim Ronquist here with Drake Waterfowl and Old Tom Turkey Products, talking about some of the new lineup for this spring. One of the more popular is the SWT collection, or Spiderweb Technology. This is a highly breathable micro vented stretch fabric for maximum silent mobility with a durable water repellent finish that'll keep you cool and keep you dry and keep you going in the spring woods. Be sure and check it out at a dealer near you or drakewaterfowl.com/Old Tom.
So do you think there's a leader of the pack?
I think so, and I don't think it's always the biggest. And the same thing, with coyotes or whatever in an area.
We've heard this analogy a lot, and I was going to bring it up, but it's just that the alpha is not the big one.
Not always.
The bigger ones are usually in the front of the pack, and the alpha is the one in the back.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that.
You don't buy it? Okay, I just want to ask.
Here's the thing. Guys will, even with coyotes, they say, "Oh, I caught that alpha male."
Yeah.
How do you know?
Wow. Yeah.
You can't tell. How can you tell?
Okay.
With wolves, you can't tell if it's an alpha male unless you watch them interact with the.
They all have different personalities.
Right.
Most of the time.
You can tell a female.
Most of them is pretty docile. They'll lay down, but
Yeah.
some of them bigger males, they'll
Yeah.
howl at you and want to bite you or whatever. They just can tell that they hold their ground, but you still can't say that that's alpha male.
No, you can't. You
You know,
can't.
so-
You can tell on a female, real easy.
The alpha female?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Real, it's pull her uterus out. Pull her uterus out.
She's pregnant.
No, you count the dots from the litters she's had over the years.
Ah.
The scars on the uterus.
You never thought about doing that, Lanny?
Well, I really, I was contemplating what a uterus was. When you said that. I knew it had something to do with that. Didn't know I had dots on it, though.
I hadn't done a wolf hysterectomy in a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, do we need to take a break and let you check in your turkey?
Already checked it in.
Okay, that because I saw you jump when he said something about.
Well, he said game check, and I was like, oh, yeah, I got to do that. But I did. Just saw the MDWFP people know it has been checked.
So we hear about these packs having like this is their territory and getting in fights with.
Yeah.
So can you explain that a little bit?
Oh
to us?
man, so much goes on. Yeah, they will go in the neighboring packs and kill the pups. They'll go into bear dens and kill bear cubs and rip them out.
Reducing competition? Is that what that's all about?
It's an easy meal.
Ah.
Yeah, they're hibernating.
But these packs don't go in each other's territories.
Yeah, they'll go in each other's territories, but it's not a safe place to be. Boundary lines are kind of like coyotes. Boundary lines would be a road, a ridge top, a creek bottom, stuff like that.
So looking at this map on Wisconsin, when it's showing all those dots, they just pretty much stay in that area. That might be a county or something. That's where that pack is, and there's another pack in another county, and they don't typically cross paths.
There's going to be spots where they overlap. You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to go in very far.
They probably don't go into their main area.
Yeah.
Well, there's spots we call rendezvous locations. That's the last place a neighboring pack wants to be is in another wolf's rendezvous location. That's like the living room. That's like y'all's den right here,
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed, I'm just thinking about dogs. So, I would assume that wolves hike their leg up when they mark their territory. Have you noticed that?
You mean just like
to pee?
Oh yeah, yeah. Boy, that's a good subject. Oh my God, I seen some stuff this year that was just amazing. Not every urine post is the same. Not every urine post is important. In the beginning of season, there was a urine post I found had kickbacks. The bottom of a dog's foot is a gland. Okay, so when they'll urinate, they'll kick back, they'll roll. They're putting all the scent down, and you think, oh my God, that's a great spot to set a trap. I had traps sitting there for 45 days and never came back. Okay, so there's a spot by my place. It's called Brushy Mountain. Okay, so I went up the Brushy Pass. I went up the road looking for pine marten. Right. As I was climbing an elevation, the snow was getting deeper and deeper and deeper. About a mile into it, a whole group of wolves got onto my old snowmobile track from 2 weeks prior, and they straight lined it, And then about every quarter mile, these wolves, one or two wolves or whatever it was, they would dig down through 2 feet of snow down to the road, remove the snow completely. And then they would piss in it. Okay, and then every quarter mile they were doing that. I seen 7 spots like that. And then in between they're crapping, stuff like that. That was, to me, a definite territorial boundary. That's a huge boundary. I can't trap that. It'd be an awesome place to trap because it's on a road.
So one other thing I have, do you notice any dominance with the posturing of the tails in wolves?
Well, when I catch them, in traps, some of them are tucked in, which is subordinate, and then some of them that's a good question because I was talking to a friend of mine about that. The tail's kicking back and forth like this, just pow, pow, and that wolf there is standing there looking at me, just looking at me, and the tail's just kicking back and forth. All right, so now when the wolf is caught, another wolf would be caught, and that tail's tucked in. You don't even want to look at me. You will not make eye contact. But the other ones will be standing there, if the tail's popping back and forth, he's making eye contact.
You mentioned earlier, not on the podcast, but that you've got a dog.
Oh yeah.
that lives with you off the grid, and you're living with wolves. This dog has got to be a nervous wreck all the time, doesn't it? And you're bringing home wolves and skinning them, and
You need to follow me on my social media. He's a little badass.
so does he go out on the trail with you?
Oh yeah, not all the time. Like I don't take him on my snowmobile, or nothing like that. But in my truck and four-wheeler and stuff like that, yeah, I bring him with him at trap line. If you're a canine trapper, one of the most important thing you can bring with you is your dog. A good dog. If he's a good loyal dog, that's what you want. If it's a dog that's gonna be out running, chasing squirrels and rabbits, that's the last thing you need on your trap line.
Yeah.
But my dog Timber, he's I have his grandma. She's Tennessee Mountain Cur, and then he's Blue Heeler, Mountain Cur, and Border Collie mix, and he is loyal. Oh my God, he is loyal. Yeah.
Does he help you find places to set traps?
Yeah. What? Actually, him and his grandma do. I'll let them run in front of the truck, like going down a 2-track, and I'll just watch them. You know what I mean? Or I'll stop at an intersection and just watch them, and they'll work a set. Not one of my set, but I'm talking a urine post set.
The same way I do with coyotes here.
Yeah.
So the wolf has peed on a post.
Yeah.
And your dog will locate that and
Yeah.
give you indications. Hey, boss, we need to put one right here.
Yeah. I don't always set them spots because if they are a wolf spot and it's in the fall, I can't set it. But they're not always a good spot to put a trap just because of how it sets up. What I would do is move over about 5 feet and then go ahead and refine the set a little bit tighter, so I can go ahead and get that coyote caught.
So there's a restriction that says you can't set a trap on a natural urine post.
No, I can.
Okay.
If the urine post is big, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm watching my dog and it comes up to a little pine tree, and the little pine tree is like this big around or whatever.
Like a foot.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If he's peeing on a blade of grass, heck yeah. Yeah, then I'll go ahead and get that set up because it pinpoints it.
So are you watching out for your dog when y'all are on these trips? Is it in your mind? Is that what that 44 Magnum is? Because it just seemed like a dog would be.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I don't want him going far from me. There's been times where I know my dog Ricochet, the granny, she's saved my butt on lions. You know what I mean? Because she's the one that kind of goes off and she'll run squirrels and, she won't go too far. But when she hugs right next to my side and that hair starts standing up, yeah, I know something's going on,
Yeah.
Then I just, usually like during bobcat season or something. But
Do you worry about the dog scent affecting the trap line?
No, it enhances it.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see. All right, cool. You brought up something really good. And this has to do with coyotes also.
I mean, they're dogs.
Yeah,
a dog is a dog.
It's really important. On a urine post set, this is something I just learned and really realized the past couple of years. When I come up and let's say make a urine post set, okay, I'll go ahead and bed my trap, do a T-bone or a rock, throw some urine on it, maybe some gland lure, then I walk away. Okay, that's only part of the story. And with wolves, it's really, really important for wolves to have the whole story. That's why I think why they're refusing to go ahead and work a good urine post set.
Are you bedding your traps just like you do here? I mean, how deep? You bedding them and putting that wax sand over?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How deep?
How deep of what? Wax sand?
How deep are you putting?
Gosh, with a wolf.
Does it matter? I mean, as far as you scent wise, do you try to get it half-inch?
No, it don't matter.
Just barely covering the trap.
Yeah, I'd probably do a 1/2 inch over the top, maybe a 1/4 inch.
You said you set a bunch of scent posts and flat sets. Do you set many dirt holes? Kind of like we do here for coats.
No, I don't do a lot of dirt holes because my ground is so hard.
Froze.
It's like concrete.
Yeah.
No, rocky.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots I can't get a dirt hole in. Yeah. So the urine post is there's a lot of information missing with a urine post. When a dog comes up, even like your dog or whatever comes up and pisses on something, he's also okay. Let me back up. We got to understand how a dog smells. A dog smells like we see. Okay, so I'm looking at this turkey at the same time I'm talking to you. I'm looking at the turkey. I'm looking at the trap, your cup of coffee, your hat. That's how a dog smells. Okay. We smell like, oh, I smell coffee. You know what I mean? They're smelling multiple layers of stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when a wolf comes up to one of the urine posts I would make, and I just squirt urine on it, he's not smelling the foot from the coyote or the wolf that made that urine post. He's not smelling where the coyote or the wolf has rolled on the ground, because they'll have that rolling reaction sometimes when they urinate. Mm-hmm. And then he's not seeing the footprint, because wolves are really visual. He's not seeing the footprint in the snow. So there's a lot of things that are missing when I just come in. And that's probably why that wolf, or I was telling you, that wolf went down the trail and then went over the side. Mm-hmm. The wolf said, well, hold on a second. I just smell pee. I don't smell the body of the coyote. I don't smell the gland off the coyote, the body glands. I don't see a track or nothing like that. And so it throws up red flags. So what I started to do this past year was I took a coyote hide, okay? A coyote just a fresh coyote hide, and that was my knee pad. When I would go ahead and set wolf sets, I would kneel on a coyote hide. Now I'm getting coyote smell at least into the area when, you know what I mean? And then I took a coyote foot and do a kickback and get that gland, because there's a gland in the bottom of a coyote foot. Did it work? Nah, I don't know. I didn't catch a wolf on it, but it made me feel better at night when I went put my head down. You know,
you're adding more elements.
I'm adding. There's a story. We got to think about coyotes smell in a story. Wolves, they smell. They're putting pieces and pieces together, just like we're seeing. So if there's missing smells, like you walk into your living room, you're like, "Where's my remote? Something happened to my remote." They're walking up to the urine post saying, "Oh, there's only pee here, but there's no other smells. What's going on?" Mm-hmm. Red flags.
Hunter, this is just like us turkey hunting and painting notes, trying to paint a picture for that gobbler out there of what's going on right here and why you need to be right here. Right. It's no different.
It's deep. It's deep.
I've never heard of trapper taking it quite that serious.
That's serious there. But it makes total sense. I know exactly when you say it, what you're talking about. But seems like to me that would go back to a good bait lure. They get all. That's why you mix all the stuff in that lure. The glands and the
right. And but it's the stuff that's over there 5 feet away.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
absolutely.
So I've seen Hunter catch coyotes, and they a lot of these guys around here will take a picture of a coyote still in the trap, and I've seen and experienced all that. When you walk up on a wolf, is he looking like he wants to eat your?
Not always. No. Some of them, they'll curl up in a ball. Alan Prost.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I filmed with Alan back in 2001, and we had it was 2 days before wolf season. I had a wolf and a coyote trap. It's on one of his episodes, and we released that wolf. That wolf curled up in a ball. It wouldn't move. He's out of the trap. We had to walk 100 yards over there before he did move.
What do you lay a coat over?
The sense of defeat. Some of them, they just know they're defeated.
Yeah. Yeah. Either that, it's trauma. Trauma being around a human. You just can't move. You're so scared.
Can you trust him though? I mean,
no.
You can't trust that cat.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust a wolf.
But now I've had them also. Like I told you, I think I told you the other day or today, where I had a wolf in a trap. It started getting away, and then he realized he couldn't get away. Then he turned around and he started stepping towards me with the trap on his foot, looking me right in the eye. And then,
could you imagine live trapping wolves? Live market.
No.
That would be tough.
No.
Trying to get him into a dog box or something.
Yeah.
Put him in a kennel.
Before I forget this, when you were talking about it, I wanted you to do it. Richie, you may need to help me. Can you howl for us one time?
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to blow the mic out. You might want to. Richie, what does he need to do? Just push the mic out a little bit. So give us
I got a good howl. I hate to say it, but I do.
Well, we need to hear it.
We'll be the judge of that.
I talk to my neighbors a lot.
Yeah.
Let's hear one.
All right, hold on a second. Let me get my lungs right. All right. It comes from here.
Oh, yeah. That sounded like a wolf
That
to
sounded good to me.
me. I'd run off.
That was a lot better than what I thought it was fixing to be.
I bet the ladies down the hall, I bet they are leaving.
But
Oh,
when you're
good.
hunting wolves, that's the last thing you want to do, though. That'll scare them away.
But you
They,
said
they'll work it from a distance, but 90% of the times it'll scare them away.
you were telling a story earlier about one was howling after you had killed one up.
But he was always that distance away. See, that one there, I think that was alpha.
Do you have any idea what that would mean to a wolf if he hears? What is he thinking that you're saying to him?
Well, the one thing you don't want to do is bark when you're out there. That's the last thing you want to do is bark. That'll really, especially a younger subordinate wolf, that'll make them run, turn. A howl can mean just different things. You know what I mean? But if you really want to call, every successful caller that I talk to would be a pup in distress.
Can you differentiate a coyote and a wolf?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, I got a short on my YouTube, or I think it was YouTube, from last year where I had coyotes literally in my front yard. It was in the middle of the night, and then I had wolves over the other ridge, and they're both just an amazing video of sound.
They don't care much for each other. I wouldn't imagine.
No, the coyotes will avoid the wolves.
See, kind of like coyotes and fox here.
I have yet to have a coyote killed by a wolf in a trap.
Huh.
Yeah, and I live in high concentrated
Well, I've
wolf areas.
had foxes killed by coyotes.
Oh yeah,
in
I've had
traps
them killed by lions
several
too.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was expecting you to say that had happened. That you
When I moved out there, I expected it to, but it just never happened.
do you see wolves on a daily basis?
In the wild, I seen one just it was last fall. He was coming from my house too, but I've seen him 3-4 times. 4 times.
So that's it.
No, I'm sorry, 5 times.
Just riding around or whatever.
Hunting and then walking through the woods on a real windy day. If you're in wolf country, walk into that wind.
So it's not common at all to
Yeah, I was
just
kind of
run
shocked
into
by
a
that.
pack of wolves.
Not in Montana because they get killed.
What's the mountain lion population there?
It's not as good as it was when I moved there. No, not because of that.
Oh.
Yeah. sorry. But no, I don't know what happened to the cats. But I don't know what happened.
Wolves ate them.
Do you
I don't
think?
know.
Do you think? I mean, since you lived in Tennessee, do you think that wolves are more detrimental than hogs? Like, if you had to pick, row crop, livestock. I mean, habitat.
Have you dealt with the hog?
Yeah, a
issue?
little bit in East Tennessee before I left. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could snap your fingers and one of them be gone, which one would
Hogs.
you pick?
I'm gonna pick for him.
I'd say wolves.
Nah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. I'm in the South. You're in Montana.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hogs, you can go ahead and set up a big, huge trap and catch the whole thing. That just don't happen with wolves. Wolves, they got a brain, man.
Yeah.
And they kill so much.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that if you're trapping one side of a mountain and another guy's trapping the other side, somebody's in those drainages, those sequential drainages you were talking about. These wolves making their course, they encounter a lot of stuff and get smarter every.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I trap on my snowmobile track. Well, towards the end of the season, they just avoided my snowmobile track. Instead of running down it, they'll run across it. You know what I mean?
The coyotes here, they run roads. That's where I trap.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yep.
For the most part, not out in the woods.
Yeah.
And does wolves do the same?
Oh, yeah,
they kind of run the roads.
Yeah, and that's why they try to keep us 150 feet off the road with setbacks. Yeah.
You ever caught something you didn't mean to catch?
What's that?
You ever caught something that you didn't mean? I'm not talking about an STD or anything like that. I'm talking about
They got medicine for that.
That's right.
A non-target.
Yeah, non-target. Yeah, it happens. I caught a bear this year, and nice chocolate. If it was in, if I didn't have it in a trap, I would love to have killed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't kill them when they're in a trap. So
what do you do?
How you let him go?
I called game warden up. My buddy,
There you go.
I'm pretty good friends with game warden.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, want to come out?
Come check this trap with me.
Yeah. But he went and gave a little medicine, and let it out. And of course it was fine.
Y'all tranquilized him.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they put a little tag in it.
So you wouldn't use a catch pole on a black bear to get him loose.
This one
Maybe
was
a
a little
small one.
Yeah, this one was a little too big. You know what I mean? It was a little bit too big. Yeah. And the year before, I had a mountain lion caught, and I had to call him for that one too. And that one I had on a big larch. You know what a larch is? Like a big tamarack tree.
Right.
They get really big, and those are usually a territorial marking area. Okay, for a lot of different predators. Because they come there. Coyotes come there. Bobcats come there, wolves come there, and everybody craps around it, right? Yeah. My dogs, they love finding them. They just go crazy. Look, yeah. Timber's just got to crap like 15 times and pee all over the place. But so anyways, I set it up, and of course I set them up with multiple traps. I ended up catching a lion and had one on the front foot and one on the back foot, and so I called them up on that one. But got them out.
It's amazing.
That's the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The effort that he's going to, and others like him, to do the right thing here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and it
ruins your day.
It doesn't.
It really does. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it really does, because you got to sit out there. You want to run your trap line, but you got to wait for the game warden.
Right.
I live 45 minutes from town.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody, that's right.
Well, what if he's on the other side of the county? And
right.
Yeah, you just.
How often do you go to town?
Oh man, lately I've been going a lot, too much, But I try about once a week.
What's her name?
That was my next question. How'd you read my mind?
I'm 57 years old. I don't think about that much anymore.
That's
but
funny.
no, I get to the point where I need human interaction. You know what I mean? Just recently, I hang out at a little bar called Happy's Inn.
Yeah.
Happy's Inn, Montana. But
there you go. Shout out.
Yeah, and it's just a great place, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And look them up on Facebook and all that, because it's just an awesome place.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's probably a couple thousand miles away, but it reminds me of Northern Exposure.
Yeah,
the TV show.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
Happy what?
Happy's Inn.
Happy's Inn.
They are the. I say we. They're the only bar that is on the Randall McNally map.
Okay.
We
Remember
have
those maps before the internet came out.
Is that like for the snowmobile maps?
No, that's for like the Randall McNally.
Hey,
they're on Weatherbug.
Oh heck.
Yeah. We got the largest
cool.
American flag too in the state of Montana.
That's great.
So you're tanning some of these hides too?
No,
you're not.
I'll tell you how to tan. This is the easiest way to tan. Okay, so you catch your animal, you skin it, you flesh it, you dry it, get a box, you put it in a box, you put a stamp on it, and send it to your local tannery.
There you go. That's the way to get it done.
Back real nice. And
Let the experts.
That's what I do
right.
too. Yeah,
that's right.
I get the vibe that wolf trapping is not necessarily your favorite thing to do to trap.
Nah, it really isn't. I mean, I got my YouTube Montana Wolf Trapper, and there's a passion there, but it's a passion more for management than it is for the chase.
Yeah, it's almost like you feel like you have to do it.
Yeah. If you know how to do it, you have to. The animal activists think that we're trophy trapping and all that, and it's not. You go to my house, I got one wolf hanging on the wall, and it's the black alpha female that I caught that had a collar, and she ended up getting a CITES tag 1967, and that's the year I was born, so I kept her.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yep.
But that's the only wolf I've caught a lot of wolves. Killed
How
a lot
far
of
had
wolves.
she traveled when you caught her? Did you get the information back on
It
it?
was the batteries are dead. Everything was dead in it. She was old.
Yeah.
Her uterus was scarred up. She had 3 pups the previous year. And then you know what? She's black. The black tinted blue. Well, I should have brought her. She's a pretty dog. But I didn't. After that, there was no more black wolves. I took my black wolf cash cow away.
What is the lifespan of the wolves that you encounter?
Yeah. You're saying 7.5 years old. The oldest one I've caught was 9.5.
Yeah, that's a long life for being in that type of condition.
And how are you aging them?
By the teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, by the teeth.
Man, I got to tell you, Happy's Inn's got it going on, man.
You bet,
I'm
buddy.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Killing it up there.
Yeah.
I might need to do a remote up there.
Yeah, we should do that.
Oh, I could hook you up.
Bill Duke Airlines.
Yeah.
Bill Duke
We had to get a
Airlines.
little extra fuel to get up there.
Yeah,
I got the band
few
49
stops.
Winchester to play there last year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Shows lined up. Look
Yeah.
at them.
Told you. That's in the middle of nowhere, man.
Happy's Inn. Might just swing by there one day.
Did you say you got a good population of Merriams up there?
Actually, yeah.
And you don't
Yes.
turkey hunt.
And a bar. Yeah.
So
We're getting closer, Bobby.
you
We're
know,
getting closer.
if we're gonna stay at his cabin up there, and these wolves running around, I need a little more clarification.
Me casa, your casa.
Do you? So I'm thinking about this off the grid. I can't imagine in my mind what you live in off the grid, and I'm kind of picturing something like, pretty basic. But in the morning, can you just open your door and let your dogs run out, or do you need to go outside first and look around?
Here is the here's how it goes in the morning. Okay, Timber, he has all his manly jewels. Okay, so he's real dominant. And he likes to go out and mark, and he likes to scrap with the coyotes and stuff like that. So I got to really, really watch Timber. He's going to run up that mountain one day and get in trouble. So what I had to do is go ahead and partition off a kennel off the back. And so I get up in the morning and he's pacing at the door. Sometimes he's smelling up and down the door, and he smells the predators or whatever, something that came in that night. I sleep with my window open. If the wind, because we have thermals there, if the wind coming down the mountain, wind going back up the mountain. So thermals are coming down and it picks up a scent. He'll wake up in the middle of the night, boom, and start barking and run down the door. And so Timber's really aggressive. I'm going to get to your question. I got one more Timber story.
Yeah.
He ended up getting caught in one of my bobcat sets.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I lost him. He ended up running off. Usually we meet up a mile or two down the road. We didn't meet up. We got screwed up. He was in that set for a little over a day. All right. The wolves came in, and he ended up crawling in underneath and into the cubby, and the wolves circled around him, and he never got killed.
Oh, Timber's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Timber's a cool dude, man. Timber's a pretty cool dude.
I bet he was glad to see you.
Oh, he
he was,
was, buddy. Until his foot started to get a little bit big. We went to the vet, but he was fine. But yeah, so he reacts different when he comes across wolf smells. So in the morning I let him out, and he'll go out into that little kennel area right out the door. I got a chunk of firewood for him to pee on, but he'll pace back and forth before he pees. And he'll bark and try to get him to come down the mountain. He's like, "Come on, boy, come on down. Yeah, I'm ready for you." He yells obscenities to the neighbors. So, but yeah, then what I do is I'll get up in the morning and I'll go out the front door by my garage, and I'll let Ricochet out, and she'll do her thing. She's just a little older dog. She knows her place. And but Timber's wanting to run up the mountain, and I won't let him go until I've done some things around the yard and fire the generator up or whatever, then I'll let him out, But yeah, no, it's I mean, they kill dogs all the time. A mile away from my house, my buddy's lion hound got killed about a year and a half ago.
Don't sound like a very carefree place to live.
I'd rather live there in the big city.
There you go.
I agree.
I kill my neighbors there and
Yeah,
get away with
that's
it.
Do grizzlies figure into this equation at all?
I live in a very low to no grizzly area. I am not actually the old map. They changed these maps to fit their need, and I was not in the grizzly bear occupy zone. All right, so now they changed it all and everything. So I guess now I am. I don't know, but I've yet to have a grizzly problem at all. Now, Tom up in the Yak, I was talking, Tom Orr, everybody knows Tom Orr, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was talking to him 2 days ago, and they got grizzlies coming out up there. And so they had one come into his carcass pile.
So it's probably just a matter of time, though, if you're right there on that fringe area.
Yeah, they'll probably come through, but I don't think they're going to hang out. I don't think they're going to hang out.
I'm thinking about something that is, I guess it's kind of serious. I'm sure we all see and hear it all the time, but maybe pretend you're at the tavern and you're talking to somebody that maybe a tourist that is in a city. When you see the voting where people vote on these wolves, it seems like, well, I mean, the votes don't lie. The folks that are in the city are usually voting against it. And the people that live where the wolves actually live are voting to, keep the populations in check. So let's face it, wolves are indigenous, cows are not. How do you relate that? How do you fight your stance on that?
I don't argue with them
carefully.
Yeah, I first of all, I don't argue with them. I don't argue online. I don't argue at all about it. I state my facts as what wolves are doing to the landscape and doing to our game species and all of that. Right where I live, there's the FWP, our Fish and Game, says there's 500 wolves, and I can't remember how many packs they say, and then they say that we're not over carrying capacity. Come on, really? I ain't lived there all my life to see the decimation of the elk or nothing like that. I'm seeing less and less moose. That's a problem. So all I do is I just give them the facts, and you're not going to change their mind. Here's the problem with the whole thing. The rich little old widowed lady in Birmingham, all right, that sees an ad, or any city, sees an ad on the TV, says, give to this cause and save the wolves. She's not giving for really saving the wolves. She's not giving for habitat enhancement or studies or nothing like that. She's giving money to the lobbyists is what they're doing. All right. So that little old lady in Birmingham that's writing that check for $5,000 because her husband left her $5 million is determining how a rancher in Montana can go ahead and manage his predators. That's horrible. All right. So that's why we need to get it back into the hands of the state. I mean, we're already in the hands of the state. This is how the Endangered Species Act works. Okay. He took away 30 days of our wolf season on the front half and on the back half. So now we have 45 days to get the job done. It's not enough time. All right. So this is how the Endangered Species Act works with grizzly bears. So let's say you got a half a dozen steers, right, Bobby? Okay. Grizzly bear comes in and he's killing your steer. You cannot harass that bear. You can't throw rocks at that bear. You got to sit and watch that bear eat your steer. Then the bear goes over and eats your wife's horse or something like that. Let's say you cannot shoot the bear. You cannot throw rocks at the bear. That is a means of take. Okay. So if we accidentally catch a grizzly bear in our wolf trap, you see how big that trap is. I mean, you could go ahead and get a wolf 3 or 4 toes. That is considered a means of take because we stopped that bear in his tracks and we're holding him there. That's the same thing as killing that bear.
That doesn't make any sense.
So what they're doing is they're weaponizing the Endangered Species Act.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we got to get rid of that Endangered Species Act. I mean, they should be celebrating it. All right. They should be celebrating the fact that, holy cow, grizzly bears are back from the brink of destruction, just like they did the bald eagle. But they're not going to celebrate that because they're using the grizzly bear to go ahead and control us from trapping wolves.
Well, what you're doing sounds like obviously you're having a lot of fun. You smile, your eyes twinkle when you talk about it, but it sounds like a lot of work too.
Yeah. A friend of mine asked me the other day, he's like, so, because I'm going to a lot of shows this year. I'm doing, I think, 9 trappers conventions. I'm going to be all over the country, and plus I, sell apparel and I film YouTube and, and now my Facebook's growing and, and working, what it's like working in social media. It's a whole nother job, and you got to promote yourself and all of that. And a friend of mine's like, oh, we're doing, oh gosh, I got so much stuff going on. I got Happy Hollow Outdoors. We're doing that on Saturday.
Red Bay, Alabama.
Red Bay, Alabama.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there, yeah.
Home of
That's
the
the Alabama Trapper Convention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just, what I got going on, I got, I'm helping, we're Montana Fur Harvesters. We're doing our first annual spring rendezvous. I got over half of the Mountain Man cast members are coming down for that. It's going to be in Ronan, Montana. I got Tom and Nancy coming to it. Jake, Lion Hunter, he just had a baby.
Wow.
And his wife's coming. Brett and Ivy's coming down from Alaska. Okay. And Laurel, the guy that, the musher that's on the show, he just signed up. He's going to be there. The only two that are left that ain't coming is Marty and Mike Horseman.
Wow.
Otherwise, the whole cast of the show is going to be there. We're expecting, anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people at our first stinking rendezvous. Because you may go 2 weeks and not even see a track, guys.
Yeah, we probably don't
you
do
spend
that.
a lot of money.
That'd be like
drinking a lot of beer.
that'd be like us filming a deer hunt in the 80s.
Wow.
But the coyote trapping one, like in the Judith Basin, I'll be running 2 trap lines there this year. I'll be running 200 traps.
But kind of getting back to our what we're doing here at the podcast, the wolf trapping, you get excited about trapping these martins.
Oh, martin trapping.
That's what I used to like watch Marty.
Yeah.
Martins, that was fun.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about a wolverine? Do you ever encounter those?
Twice. Tracks on my trap line. And it was not this past winter, but the winter before. My son and I live off of Wolf Creek Road. It's a really long drainage. And so we were headed out. I think we were headed out to go run wolf traps or something. It was January. And all of a sudden this thing ran across the road in front of us. Snow and everything. I look at my son and he goes, "What was that?" I'm like, "It wasn't a bear. It wasn't a bear cub." And bears are sleeping, at this time, it's 20 below out, and so we get up there and sure enough, it was, Wolverine tracks. So.
And they say pound for pound, they're the toughest thing
Oh,
out
yeah,
there.
they're badass little things.
Yeah.
Never had trouble with one yet on the trap line.
You ever caught a badger?
Oh yeah, plenty. Yeah, they're not as badass as you think.
Okay.
They're not. They make a lot of noise.
Honey badger.
You've seen too much intranet.
Paul, just to get comfortable right there, Mac. Why don't we do our trivia question?
I think that's a good idea, Bobby.
Yeah, let's do that.
Uh-oh.
All right, so the winner who left a review is Hunter Farlow, and the prize, Dudley, guess the prize.
I get the prize?
I said guess the prize.
I'm going to say that it is a Newcomb blind.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great piece of equipment to have.
I love
Absolutely.
it. I absolutely love it. All right, so the guys on the couch, you can phone a friend, but they have to be sitting next to you. So the question is, Alaska boasts the highest wolf population of any state. What state in the lower 48 has the most wolves?
Oh, that's a toss-up.
According to my research, there was one that jumped out.
And that's recent.
It was a 2025 estimation.
Montana's sitting at about 1,200, I think.
You are really close.
Yeah. Was it 11?
So we're looking for the state in the lower 48 that has the most wolves.
Yeah.
And then
Minnesota.
Yeah, there you go.
all right, so how many wolves are estimated to be in Minnesota?
I'm going to guess 1,500. Am I high?
Now you're low.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're saying 2696.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me run down these states. I think it's pretty interesting. Alaska's 9,450. Minnesota's 2,696. Idaho is 1,337. Montana is 1,100. Wisconsin is 972. Michigan is 631. Wyoming is 338. Washington is 216. Oregon 178, and New Mexico 114.
Mm-hmm. Nothing on Michigan.
New
Did you say
Mex-
Michigan?
New Mexico.
Michigan 631.
Okay.
So Minnesota area-wise, has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alaska is huge.
I think most of those wolves too are the northern half.
So that's where the deer problem that you were talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
It stems from that.
Yeah.
Wow, Mike, did you realize that all these issues around wolves were floating around, and then when you see the numbers of how many is in a state, it's kind of shocking.
I had no idea that they were getting close. Which, I mean, in the Midwest.
Yeah,
Illinois.
Yeah.
Now
I mean, that surprised me.
Do a little math. Let's just do 25 deer per wolf a year. Do that math once.
Well, I don't have a calculator with me. But,
All right, so what's the Minnesota number?
Della, you don't have to take off your shoes.
Yeah, so the Minnesota number was 2696 times 25, naught, equals
2696 times 25 equals 67,000.
it's a lot of deer.
How many deer do hunters kill a year in Minnesota? I wouldn't know, but
Well, so would it be safe to say, like, let's just say the Minnesota number, and would you say there's an average of 20 in a pack? And so
No.
you would not.
Montana, I think they're saying 6 to 7 on average. Some areas are going to have bigger numbers. Like where I'm at, there's bigger numbers. The pack, I got 2 out of the pack that's right behind my house this past year, and that one started out with 9. So,
Have you ever seen there's a little video that goes around that says that the introduction of wolves into Yellowstone has helped the rivers improve. What is going on with that?
Yeah,
you're laughing. So
that was disproven.
it was completely disproven. It's crap.
Yeah. So that's just bad information.
Yeah,
that's being,
yeah.
So what it said was that the wolves got rid of most of the herbivores on these drainages, and so the willows were able to grow back. The beavers were able to build dams again, and so it was kind of creating bringing the ecosystem back.
Well, here's another one too: is wolves only eat the sick and the weak. What if there is no sick and weak? What are they going to eat?
They're just going to eat what they can.
They're going to eat what they can. Is what they're going to do. It's also proven that they spread CWD through their crap, through their droppings.
That's interesting. Richie, you spend a lot of time in Montana. Jump in here.
No, I don't really have anything. I mean, you guys have covered up, a lot of information here. It's been really great to sit back and listen.
But I bet with you, but you spend a lot of time in Montana. It's interesting for you to hear this. Yeah. Yeah. And it is very polarizing, the discussion of wolves.
It is very polarizing out there, out west, Montana, reintroduction, Yellowstone. It is definitely a hot political topic.
Hunter, as a trapper, you got the man sitting right there.
I got a bunch of questions. He answered a lot of them. I'm just curious on the difference between trapping a coyote and trapping a wolf. Where you figured out what you needed to do different?
The best way I can explain wolf trapping and coyote trapping in a whole is coyote trapping. You're doing 1 or 2 sets consistently. You stop at one location, put in your 2 sets that you always put in, go to the next 2 sets always put in, go to the next 2 sets always put in. Okay. With wolf trapping, you look at an area and it's more strategy. I'm always strategizing on what to do next.
You said you had to be 150 feet off right away.
Yep.
See, that's different. I mean, because here you trap on signs on
public,
the road.
On public.
Okay. All right.
Private,
I put my trap in the middle of the road.
Yeah. On private, I can be right on the road.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's probably way more productive.
Oh yeah. No, that's where you want to be.
So how do you get them off the road? Do you just lay a little scent line or something to your...
It's like stopping a freight train.
Right.
Yeah. When they got their mind set on something, you can't. It's really hard.
That would almost be impossible.
I mean, could you leave a bunch
you
of
would
human
really have to
scent
spend
in the road
time
to make them go around?
He's spending time in the woods looking for trails and stuff. I mean, that's all.
They don't use trails.
They just wild.
Yeah. No.
Do they have a den that they go to every day and den up?
No. They're mobile.
That's definitely that's
Right now they're
next level
denning.
trapping. For sure.
Right now they're denning. Picture this. Same as a wolf as a coyote. Okay, with this, crack an egg in a pan. Right now, okay, you got the white and then you got the yolk. Right now, they're living in the yolk. That's their den site. Okay, same thing with the coyotes and the wolves. They're raising pups in that. Okay, so now out in the big area in the white, God is producing 2 or 3 different litters of rabbits and rodents and all of that. Fawns are dropping and all of that stuff. And then as soon as those pups get bigger and they start growing legs, then they move out into the white, which is their main territory, wolves and coyotes. And then they start feed. That's their refrigerator. So the best time to kill coyotes, if you want to save your deer and your population of turkeys and all that stuff, is in the springtime. Right now.
Right now.
Kill your coyotes right now.
Yeah, that's what that's Hunter's that's his life right now, or it was a few months ago for sure. Yeah,
I got sets out right now.
Dudley, you got any final thoughts?
No, I learned a lot. I mean, we were kind of all over the place. But
That's great to be that.
Exactly. I loved it. Just a good conversation.
Editing. Try to bring it all together in editing now, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Paul, you're an interesting guy, and so anybody listening to this can go to YouTube and watch Montana Wolf Man.
Wolf Trapper. Montana Wolf Trapper.
Montana Wolf Trapper. Edit this real making that. Montana Wolf Trapper.
Yes.
And then you're getting an Instagram page started.
Yeah, the Instagram's already started back up.
Yeah.
And of course my Facebook page is Paul Antczak, But with my YouTube, it's not all wolf trapping. Don't go there and think it's just going to be all wolf trapping. It's everything. I might be spring beaver trapping or coyote. I got a great series on trapping coyotes over there in the Judith Basin.
Well, you live off grid. I'm sure you do a bunch of cool stuff around the house.
Yeah, I need to get back on the off grid stuff too. The only problem when you start putting stuff like that off grid, and then the guys that think they know it all get on there and tell you how to do it.
That's par for the course.
That's frustrating.
Yeah,
so
I bet that is.
You just got to post it, not read the comments.
There you go. Yeah, I've had a few say that.
Well, I tell you what, we've appreciated you being here, Bill Duke. I appreciate you doing all the effort that you put into.
He's talking our ear off today.
Getting him here, that very, very, we very much appreciate it.
We had to get it in high gear to make this work, but I'm happy we were able to do it.
Yeah. So guys can go duketraps.com. Okay,
that is our website. You can see everything we've got available, all the high-end Pro Series traps, including the 850 Paul uses. It's all right there.
I was looking at it today.
Yeah. Hunter, Duke Traps, you know it.
I run them. I got about 6-8 dozen probably in the truck now.
So look, here's what I'm going to do. When we close this thing out, we want to get you to howl one more time to close us out. So why don't we do that right now?
All right, we'll do it. There it is.
That's pretty good.
That is unbelievable.
That is good.
Wow.
Say goodbye, Dudley.
Goodbye, Dudley. Get us out of here, Richie.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast. And be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.